Hi everyone, this is Angie with Stampin' with Amore, and this is Back to Basics Stampin' Up Style Part 5. So today I'm going to share with you just a different kind of stamping technique, and it's using our Stampin'Write markers, which look like this, and it comes in every color in our color collection. And they do have a big set that you can buy them all, or you can just buy them in color collections. And I think there's still a few that you can buy individually. So today we're going to just use our Mossy Meadow, our Melon Mambo, and our Daffodil Delight. And we are going to create this card, and I'm going to show you how to create this card. So this one is a little bit different size. So you are going to use a piece that is 8.5 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. So it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And for this card, you'll have to use your envelope punch board to create the envelope for it. But this is crumb cake, and then we're using the designer series paper right here, which is Melon Mambo, and it's in our designer series paper stack. And then you will just need some Whisper White. And this is Bermuda Bay twine. Our not linen, I always want to call it linen thread, but it's our baker's twine. So anyway, this is what we're going to create today, and I'm going to just show you the technique. So the stamp set that we're going to use for this is called Number of the Years, and this is a really great set. But we're going to use this right here, and we're going to use these flowers to create this card. So let's go ahead and get started. And I have a piece that's 8.5 by 4, and I'll just bring up it's 4 1/4, I'm sorry, by 8.5. And we're just going to score this at 4 1/4. And that's our base. So that's what we're using for our base here. And as you notice on this one, I rounded the corners on here, and so I followed that design right here on this. So we're going to go ahead and round the corners on that. And I'm just going to use our corner rounder. This is a Project Life corner rounder. And it works just like that. So we're going to have the corners rounded on this card, and then we're going to get our stamp, and this is the first stamp that we're going to stamp. And then we're going to use a piece of Whisper White to stamp on, and my piece of Whisper White here is 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. And then you're going to need a piece of designer series paper for this, and it's 3 1/2 or 3 1/4 by 3. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Now this technique, you are going to just use, there's 2 ends on these Stampin'Write markers. There's a really thick end, and it has a thick line right here, so you know which end you're using, and then it has a fine point on this side, and you can write with this side. So it shows a fine line right here. So this is 0.5 millimeters, and then this is the brush side. So we're going to use the brush side, and you're just going to run it along the edge, along the top of your stamp. And this gives it a little bit of a different look, unless you're, like when you're just regular stamping. So, and I like the look that it gives it. It almost looks a little watercolored, although this stamp tends to look like that anyway. But so just run it all the way along, and after you do that, you have to go back and what they call huff on it. So we are going to take our stamp, and you're going to just like blow on it with hot air. You're just going to go just like that, and it moistens your ink up, and then you're ready to stamp. So just center it and stamp it down. And that is your leaves. So the next one that we're going to use is going to be our Melon Mambo. And again, use the brush side and just run it across the top here. I've got a piece of something on there. Fuzz. I don't want that in there, so let's get that out. Okay, and then we'll just do this one. These are like the two little roses. And again, you're going to huff on it. And we are going to place the two roses right here. And then our next one will be our Daffodil Delight. And this is a little, I don't know what it is, but it's a different kind of looking flower. And again, you're going to huff on it, just, and then you are going to stamp that. And then one more. We have the two little flowers here. We're going to do these in Daffodil Delight also. And then this one. So there it is. So it's super cute. And I just want to show you the difference here. I stamped this with the ink pad, and you can see it gives it a little bit of a different look. It's not really that, you know, huge of a difference, but it does give it a little difference. And so if you only have ink pads, you can create this card the same way, just using your ink pads. So let's take that. And we're going to round the top corners of this one. And then we're going to do the same with our designer series paper. And I always use it this way because you're sure to get it centered so it rounds the corners properly. And we're going to get some snail, and we are going to attach this. And I'm just going to attach it right to the top there, center it, because I need this bottom space for our sentiment. And then we're going to go ahead and attach this to the card base. And before I do that, I'm going to, let's go ahead and attach our other pieces. The other piece you're going to need is going to be 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. And I'm going to use my banner punch to banner the ends on this. If you don't have this, just use whatever. You can do it by hand also, but this makes it super easy. Just like that. And then we're going to take some Melon Mambo and stamp that happy birthday on that. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So I'm just going to use my ink pad for that. Before I do that, on like when you have words like this, I'm going to show you a little tip right here. That's why I put my Stampin' Up mat here, because I will line these up. And I line the top of the words up with the lines, my grid here. And then I do them both. And line them both up straight, just the top edge of your words. Just like that. And then you can come down and pick up your words, just like that. And your words will be, they're going to be all even. So we're going to stamp that. See? And then I want to get some of my baker's twine here, and I'm going to tie a bow around the bottom here. I think I'm going to need to cut this first because it's going to be hard to tie the bottom without. It's going to move around on me, so I'm going to try to do the best I can is I've done this before, and I just run a piece of tape, and then it will stay there and it won't keep moving around. I've done that before, but if anyone has any better ideas, let me know. There we go. Sometimes if I can't get my bow exactly right like the other one I got, I usually play with these for a little while to get them just right. I think that's probably going to work. But I will use like a little glue dot behind it to keep it in place. If you can't get it, to just stick a little glue dot back there. So now I'm going to take some dimensionals and I'm going to put them on the back of the happy birthday. I remove the backing from them. Which I could attach now, the rest of it, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. And you're going to just set it right here above the, make sure you're even. And then we're going to put some adhesive on the back here and attach it to the front of our card. That's it. Here's the other one. So you can see the difference. I like the bigger bow with the strings hanging. Anyway, that's the project today, and that's the little technique that you can use with your Stampin'Write markers, and these are great to have, even to just write. They write really nicely, and I love using these to get a little bit of a different look to your stamp set. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, or if there's something you'd like to see, please leave it in the comments. So anyway, everyone, if you need any supplies, or if you'd like to order this stamp set, you can go to my blog at stampingwithamore.com and you can purchase the stamp set. So everyone, have a blessed day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.